So it's basically just like call suicide hotline because I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah. Well, we're not licensed therapists, and you cannot rely on strangers on the internet for help. If you need help, you need to speak to close relatives, friends, seek out actual therapy. If something doesn't feel right to you, then it probably isn't, and you need to go get help. But you can't do it through the internet, unfortunately. I mean, you can. I mean, technically you can. If you want to look up a therapist office or something, you can do that on the internet. You know what I mean?
You can do some Googling.
You can do some Googling.
Suicide Hotline has a online chat client, I think. At least in America, I think it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Screw you, Aussies.
You can look up doctors' offices. You can look up therapy hotlines and whatnot. But you can't just you can't go and rely on a complete total stranger just because you like their YouTube channel.
We were talking about the importance of how influencers can kind of affect people.
Like I brought up gatekeepers, and we shifted, and then we talked about other things. We shifted into the idea that people will come up to us thinking that we're like some kind of, in a vague term, messiah figure. Like, people would come to me and say, "Hey, I'm depressed and I want to kill myself. What do I do?" I'm like, "I don't have a therapy license."
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were on like that subject.
And being like that, you basically are opening yourself up to being taken advantage of by people.
Yeah. When you reach out to someone, and I mean anyone, it could be a famous person or a not famous person. What you're essentially doing is inviting them into your life. And like I've said before, some creators are nice, some are not. For every person like Lightning Bliss, there's a Toon Critic. For every person like me, there's a Logan Paul. And the crappy thing is that I can't control what Logan Paul does. I can't control what you do. So really the only one who can ensure this doesn't happen is, yourself.
Yeah.
And this kind of behavior is not something unique to YouTube, but it's stuff that I've seen at cons too. I remember I was in a green room at a convention that shall remain unnamed where one of their DJs was talking about how he's going to fuck someone, because, he's going to have this sick set that's going to impress so many of the girls there. Keep in mind, the average girl there at this convention was 15 years old. Eventually, I think the guy got kicked out for distributing drugs, and a few minors actually ended up being sent to the hospital, and they had to close down all the house and room parties, everything. And it was made a objectively more miserable experience. But some people, believe it or not, are obsessed with sex and want to do crazy shit and have a lifestyle that is absolutely abhorrent.
Did this actually happen? When did this happen?
I'd say 3 years ago.
Oh my god.
But yeah, is that one of the conventions I was invited to? I actually don't go to that con anymore because of this, but yeah, I mean, imagine how bad I feel, being in this, at this convention, and I'm in a green room and I'm looking at this dude who looks like he's like a middle-aged guy with white and purple and pink hair, I mean, he looks older than my dad, and he's talking about how he can't wait to get laid after a set. And he doesn't even have a girl there. He's trying to pick up one of his fans. And if you're a fan of someone and they want to have sex with you, generally speaking, that's a good idea. That's a good place to tell them no and get the hell out, because you're just being manipulated. It's good form for content creators not to try to you reach out to fans personally, just because they're more susceptible to like you and being liked and all that.
It's more the thing of, if say it bluntly to someone who is of age and they agree, that's one thing. But it's another thing. It's hey, I'll do favors for you to get you in the business. And it's because then they're not really doing it because they want to. They're doing it because they want those favors.
With Toon Critic, it was a very different case than what I'm talking about. Toon Critic, it was hey, you want to be a cool kid? Well, let me introduce you to the Cool Patrol. It's
it's hey, do you want this cool collab? Well, that's going to cost you a little bit extra there, buddy.
Right.
Wasn't that the point of Abby's story?
From what I gathered from her story and from other similar stories, the first thing that would happen is, there would be these fresh new content creators that are relatively good on their own, and he would, I don't know what attracted him to them specifically, either them being female or just sound good, or I don't know.
He didn't actually just go after girls. I
know he didn't. I know he didn't.
He reached out to everybody.
My point is that he would reach out to them and say, "Hey, I noticed your content. I really like it. Want to talk?" I can probably hook you up and get you more notice. That's how it starts. And
Hey, he did a Harvey Weinstein. Like,
Yeah.
I can get big in the business. Just give me a handy under the table. Stop embarrassing me.
and then he would just start, and it's just that easy, apparently. Jesus.
A lot of people really want to get big. I remember when I first started running fandom, one of the things I really, really wanted to do was get big in the community. And I remember big names like Mike the Microphone and Living Tombstone. And, I remember thinking to myself, man, I wish I could be on that scale and just have that sort of opportunity. And, it's almost like a pipe dream to a lot of people. And, if you want to be a snake oil salesman and act like one of the Flim Flams, you can definitely come in there and manipulate that.
Those people are opportunists, though. So, like, for instance, the only reason why, not the only reason, but in addition to being good content creators exist far more often than you think. Most of the time, these guys got big because they were one of the good ones, but they also did it before the other people did it. The first analysts, like Digi, one of the reasons they got so huge so quickly was because they were initially the only ones doing the thing that they were doing, regardless of whether or not they were good. But the problem is that there are some people who think that either believe in the myth of talent, which is to say you need to be, snowflake theory. You have to be the special snowflake who's good at singing to be a good musician kind of thing. First off, that's horseshit. Second off, then they rely on the other thing. Oh, yes, the only reason why these people got big is because they knew the right people in the content creator Illuminati, and if you jive with me, then I'll teach you all the cool handshakes.
Right. And a lot of people, like even in my community, are afraid to talk to fans. So that's why they generally don't, because it's you don't end up wanting to just, like I said, you don't want to say the wrong thing, and because of that, it does create this illusion of there being a Illuminati, and a Lightning Bliss, you could tell me if you have this experience too, but I find it hard for myself to relate to people who are not content creators, especially when my life is kind of dedicated to making content. And because of that, how do I explain this? I'll oftentimes find myself trying to reach out to someone who makes videos as opposed to someone who doesn't, just because they kind of understand what I do, and we have a lot more to relate over and talk about. You can tell me if you don't have to deal with this, and that's fine, but for me,
Well, here's the thing. So I was one of those who, like, I went to college. I have an associate's degree into the animation. I learned how to work with these media programs that I currently have, that I've had since 2006, 2007. These are very old programs Golden Fox has much more updated Adobe programs than I do, and I simply don't want to sell my soul to Adobe right now and pay rent for their programs. But I'm that kid that I wish had somebody to direct me on what to do and how to do it, and that would have saved me time and research. But I did the research on my own. I studied other people's content. I got inspired by other people's work, and I was able to figure out what I wanted to do with my channel from there on out. So when I do get that fan or person who says, hey, I want to be like you and make videos like you, where do I start? And I probably put more work on myself than I probably feel the need to, because I feel sympathetic to them. I wish I had someone to tell me this stuff, and now I'm in that position to be that somebody for this individual. But unfortunately, I get those kind of messages a lot, and it's tiring repeating myself over and over that I end up saying, oh, go check out Aeon's video about how not to be bad at brony analysis. Or go check out our collab video. That saves me time.
I was
It's
there.
never really good enough.
I was there at the con. I know the kind of questions you get. I get a lot of those questions, by the way, too. Like at the conventions that I go to, there's a lot of them which are just annoying to answer. That's why I used to do a thing where I would go over all the commonly asked questions and all that jazz, and it was actually it actually did fill a room with just where I just explained my experiences and how to get into it. usually whenever I'm talking to people, I'll always recommend like, hey, start out with a Blue Yeti. This is like your first level entry hobbyist microphone, and then I'll tell you how to get. Then once you feel like this is something you want to be doing forever, and I'll tell you how to upgrade from there. But
after a while, it starts to get frustrating having to repeat yourself over and over, that you end up trying to come up with shorter answers like, go check out his video, go check out that video, do your own research, you'll figure it out. And then
join the club.
I'm in that situation too. I'm in that situation too, where I'll, generally it just depends on the fan. If the fan seems genuinely interested and seems like, if they give me a list of stuff that they are doing, they give me more of an explanation and all that stuff and want to ask a question, I'll usually answer. But if it's usually like, so how do you make videos? And it's like, well, that's a loaded question. Should I start with Adobe Premiere or Audacity?
I'll even get that fan where it's like, can you teach me how to do animation? I'm like, oh, that is.
Don't you like just do the like cutout thing where it's not like totally animated? It's kind of like you got all your keyframes. It's stop motion
vectors and stuff. Yeah, I do. But
I do the same thing, and I don't have no fancy college degree.
I do traditional animation by hand every now and then when I actually have time. But I'll get that person who says, hey, can you teach me how to animate? And I have to be upfront with them and say, I went to college to learn that. I'm not self-taught like Leximus or Crown Prince.
Get yourself a freaking keyframe sheet, right, of all the expressions you're going to use, and then just plop them into the video editor. Takes 2 seconds.
I end up saying, go on YouTube and look up tutorials. You'd be surprised at what you find.
Yeah, I mean, I'm considering that I'm a high school dropout. I feel like, and I do minor animation, and I've never been taught how to properly use anything. I remember how I learned how to use Adobe Premiere is a lot of YouTube videos, and I would edit in a call with another editor buddy of mine, and I'd be like, hey, what's the shortcut for cutting? Oh, I gotta press C. Got it. And, usually a lot of stuff from Vegas and Premiere kind of carry over with one another. They use a lot of the same shortcuts. Damn. One thing, though, to get us back on track here, is that content creators have a responsibility not to manipulate their audience. And, a manipulation can happen in many ways. I remember one time I got into a beef with another YouTuber because he made a Patreon video where he basically said, I'm depressed. I don't know if I can make videos because all I do is work and all this, and I want to hire an audio editor. I'm not going to name this other YouTuber because I don't really feel like dragging. This is only to be used as an example.
You don't want to risk name dropping and causing problems.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to throw shade at this guy. I'm just trying to use an example of a beef I had. Basically, he made a video where he's like, I'm depressed. I wake up every morning. I get in front of the microphone. I narrate, go to my job, come home, and sleep, and all this other stuff. And I felt like the video was very manipulative because not only was he lying in the video where he showed his microphone before it got edited, which was just him switching his Blue Yeti from Centroid to omnidirectional and then talking slightly farther away from it. But he also talked about how he needed an audio editor, who he neglected to mention was his own brother. So you got a guy with a large fan base talking about hiring an audio editor, which honestly is one of the easiest parts in narrating, at least when you're talking about a creepypasta.
Oh, yeah.
Audio editing isn't that hard. That was like getting the visuals together and trying to make a visually cohesive experience.
That's where it gets challenging.
That's where it's challenging for me. But this guy just took literal videos off of video blocks and started... And he's the guy who started doing that. But I'm not gonna shit talk him. He just made audiobooks, so that's fine. It's just he's talking about this need for this audio editor, and he needs him because he's depressed and doesn't have time to work. And it's like, if you wanted to pay an audio editor to help make your videos come out faster, I wouldn't have a problem with your Patreon. I have a problem when you say, like, when you go on for 10 minutes about how depressed you are to a bunch of depressed people.
That's being desperate.
Wait. If I'm understanding this right, so basically he says that I need to hire an audio editor because I'm too depressed to do it myself. Here's my Patreon. Please donate. Was he using this Patreon to pay this audio editor?
Yeah, it was his own brother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he didn't tell anyone it was his own brother. They actually what happened?
So he already had an audio editor.
Yeah, he was using them. He just didn't want to pay him out of his own YouTube funds. Now, keep in mind, this is a guy with more than 500,000, and he had 2 channels with over 500,000 that both made around 4 million views a month.
That's pretty shady.
Yeah, it felt shady.
No, that's taking everything for granted.
And this was before, the YouTube ad apocalypse, right?
Yeah, this is way before the YouTube ad.
Oh, that's even
This is
worse.
when you could make bank off of 100,000
Oh my
views.
goodness! So I'm very open when I say that. Yes, I have a Patreon, and yes, I get paid to do commissions, but even I cannot afford a team to help me, and I'm also micromanaging, annoying little. I don't like people doing the work for me. It's like an exposed nerve for me. Just don't do it. I prefer to do it myself. I have one music guy that's been helping me with my big project, and I pay him what he wants. And the same thing goes for Elicity, amazing artist. I'm self-plugging him in now. Sorry.
I've used Elicity. He's freaking amazing.
Yeah,
I freaking love his work, and I pay him what he wants. He's also very sweet to me, and he'll negotiate and cut me deals and whatnot, but I still pay him what he wants because he's got amazing quality. My point is that I still can't afford a team. I know I'm not in the 100 or 500 sub category, 100,000,
Okay,
Oh, well, you're not 100,000 yet? Get the hell out. I'm not. I shouldn't be doing a podcast of you.
But even if I were, even if I were at 100,000, 500,000, I don't know about 5,000, but 100,000, I still wouldn't feel confident enough to hire and pay a team what they want.
I like, for me, I kind of let them know up front, like, look, I don't make that much money. I'm able to plug your stuff and all that stuff. I'm not saying that you have to do this. And because of that, I don't impose deadlines.
Yeah.
For any of the stuff I do.
I just want to say there's nothing wrong with, let's say, setting up a Patreon and offering somebody and paying them, like to hire pay somebody to do something that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how you present it. And this definitely goes back to the whole act of manipulation. You shouldn't go playing up this whole pity card to get attention to go somewhere. Just be upfront and honest about it, but also think about your limitations.
Oh no, I've had people come up to me knowing that because I've talked about that. Yeah, I get a little stressed out because I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of commissions to do. Whose fault is that? My own. It's nobody else's fault but mine. I set myself up for it. So yeah,
I remember them making a joke about that.
I admit when I'm stressed out, but it's my own problem. It's nobody else's but mine. If I don't want to be stressed out, then maybe I shouldn't take on so much in the future. So, but yeah, I explain to people, yeah, I'm a little stressed out, but I'll deal with it. So, but despite that, I will have people message me on DeviantArt or Twitter saying, hey, I'm a video editor or an audio editor. I'd be more than willing to help you with your review projects so you can work on the bigger ones if you like.
I'm on a video. I'm in a podcast, dude.
And
damn it.
My response to them is, that is very sweet. That's very kind of you, but I can't pay you. I couldn't afford to. And they said, well, that's fine. I'll do it for free. You can just plug me in. I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. I do not pay you through promoting.
Let's not pull a Dr. Wolf here.
I'm not editing that out, right?
Yeah, no, that's not Dr.
No. I said that with the idea that you wouldn't. I'm not going to ask you to edit that out.
Oh, don't be like that.
I wouldn't
Bliss,
say that.
it was set up. The shot was set up. I took it.
Well, you're being a butt. Anyway.
AP thing, if you're going to ask me.
Ooh.
I'm not saying anything about that.
I'd like to give a special shout out to a certain somebody who couldn't be bothered to come on this podcast that I did offer to.
I know you guys are friends. Don't worry.
I'm really good friends with Doc, and I know.
No, that wasn't Doc I was referring to, but sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I know Doc better than that, but anyway, he's not like that. Point being, though, people literally see this is another way you could be taking advantage of people. Do not throw your I'm very guilty of this. Do not throw your talents at the feet of somebody who could take advantage of you. I willingly threw my abilities to Y2K blindly without pay because I was his friend. Because I thought I was making him happy and helping to promote him because I actually surpassed him in subscribers. And I was trying to help him get more no's like I thought he did for me. Meanwhile, I kid you not, FGR, Keyframe, and Aeon have both been telling me, you need to be paid for this.
Yep.
You need to stop being taken advantage of. And I kept counter-arguing like the idiot I am every time. No, I'm his friend. I don't mind doing this. This is my choice. I'm not being manipulated. I chose to do this, and I did. But the whole time I didn't realize I was being taken advantage of. And that's what I'm telling people right now. Don't do that. Don't make the mistake I did.
Yeah,
You're gonna get hurt.
Even I was getting concerned when I was looking when I was looking at your content. And just to point this out, this is something that I've taken this this is something I didn't know I didn't know that TK was doing that the whole time. But taking this into account, that's why that if, let's say, I were to get somebody to help me out with something.
Goldie, can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead.
Now, you could tell me to edit this one out and forget I ever asked it, but supposing somebody were to do that to Bliss today, would you speak up?
I actually would.
Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to hear.
Because the thing is, I wasn't sure whether or not I was in the right position to speak up about all of this. Now that we've identified with what is going on, I think it's kind of walking on eggshells for me to say this, but you need to step up and you need to speak out on what you are concerned about with others, like what Aeon was doing. And I'm losing my track here.
Well, tell you what, Goalie, I'll make this really easy. Since I have a room full of at least friends or people I respect, am I fucking up at all?
Are you fucking up at all?
Yeah, I just figured I'd ask. Yeah.
Oh, are you taking advantage of people?
Yeah, I'm asking you guys right here, right now.
Well, this is a podcast.
No.
You're asking for literally a conversation.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no.
Okay. From what I have seen from your channel and what I've heard from your artists, no, you have not. You paid them what you want, and you plugged them in every time, and you sponsored them, and you say, hey, go check out their artwork. They're awesome. So, no, you have not.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Actually
As far as the
had
artists go, I was pretty absolutely certain about that one.
You know, I've had to remind Y2K to plug in my YouTube and my DeviantArt every time he used my stuff, every time. And he said, they already know who you are. I don't need to do that. I'm like,
you plug him in.
Put him in. Fuck it.
Yeah, no.
But,
This is look, no. Like as of recently, I've been scavenging throughout various artists through DeviantArt for any future thumbnails for any future video projects that I work with. And guess what? I link them. I mention their name at the end of the video, and I pay these artists. Okay, there's a term for this. There's a term for this. I know it's gonna bother me for a really long time. I know that there is. I'm gonna go ahead and stop myself here before I make a complete ass out of myself.
No, it's cool. What is it?
It's all a matter of respect. It's taken into the perspective of business practice, because I'm kind of derailing here, but just bear with me. There's some people like artists who do this for a living, and if sometimes you use their content, whether it's to add an example or you're using it for promotional reasons or something that involves what your content has, like with me on thumbnails and such, give them some attention. Like if they feel the need to mention that they need some credit and have some liberties taken into account, then do so. Because don't take it too far though. Obviously, I want to do the best that I can to be respectful to anybody else and not make sure that I'm taking advantage of them. Again, I'm trying to find that catchphrase, and it's going to bother me for a really long time. But I'm pretty sure at this point you guys understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, God, okay. So when it comes to me, I rather pay for art than not pay for it. The reason why is because, if I'm like, okay, I want you to do this thing, and if I don't pay for it, then I don't have the right to be an asshole about it. Because, I'm like, I need this by this day. Can you draw this super quickly, get it done, or do it in this time frame? That we'll agree upon. I can't do that if it's free.
I don't go for deadlines personally. I let them take their time.
No, I'll give them a week or two.
Let me get this one here. This comes from a place of love, Goldie. We know you don't go for deadlines.
Yeah. No, I'm guilty of that.
Sorry, Fred.
No, I love your work. I had to make it. I was like, what? Peter's not going to take it? Well, fuck it. I'll do it.
No.
I was gonna say.
I had a jab at Goldie before about one of our collabs that's been on the shelf for literally 2 years, and I remember Golden offering to help me on some of my stuff, and I said, "Yeah, Goldie, but I need it now, not next year."
And then I just find it funny that this is the first time Anthony's made that joke, and it wasn't directed at me, even though it is deserved at me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just remembered freaking when Goldie was when Goldie was having the breakdown about the rapid fire freaking seasons, and he just like the thumbnail is "fuck you, Hasbro," and I remember that too. I was looking forward to that little break too, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. Speaking of which, did anyone keep up? In lieu of that, the animator situation, did that set anything back? Or did they actually finish up season 9?
No, the animator doesn't work for Hasbro anymore. Did you read it?
Oh, so
he hasn't worked on anything Hasbro related since 2015.
Oh, okay. So I guess it's all moot.
Oh, so nothing's been lost.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, he worked on Little's Pet Shop too.
Oh, no one cares.
I remember when that thing was being announced and like they only showed the intro song, and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks pretty dope." Littlest Pet Shop.
Like the way I had that one explained to me, it's all the same writers and artists and VAs, and nobody likes the other one. Nobody likes Pet Shop.
It's like we'll get the writers and we'll get the voice actors.
The characters are not
animators.
as the characters are not as strong as they are My Little Pony. They don't ever go to different settings. It's very much all slice of life. It's all slice of life, and because of that, there isn't any epicness. The main character Blythe is a Mary Sue kinda, so it's not as good as My Little Pony.
Is that still Tara Strong or
no?
Oh, okay.
Well, not to sorry to go off to a different topic on the matter, but I also had this. I don't know if I'm going to relate this to a question or whatnot. Bear with me. So I'm 32 years old. The what's and ifs of whether or not I'll ever have children one day is undecided.
Okay.
But that being said, I'd be terrified to be a parent in this day and age, knowing how easy it is to get on the internet and access everything, and random strangers contacting my kid, and you don't know what they're doing or up to, and all you could do is hope that you discipline or educate your child about the safeties and dangers. And I mean, there's fun things on the internet too, but being safe on the internet. So, and it's like, what do you have to say to those parents?
So, Bliss, I used to actually have a really relevant question on that topic, but I feel like it's worth re-asking everybody around the room. So, what age would you let your kids online? Everybody used to give me like 12, 13. Oh, it's fine, don't worry. But I think like that would be pushed back just a skosh, maybe.
12, 13.
Yeah, okay. I guess it stays consistent.
I would
say 14 or 15.
Yeah,
15,
there you go.
16.
I mean, are you talking about
terrified.
complete unrestricted access, or are you talking about like monitoring them?
Well,
Again,
I mean, if
I
you're
would,
monitoring them, then yeah, if you've got like locks and everything set up and you're keeping a tab on it, then yeah, freaking 10, 12, as long as you're keeping an eye on them.
Like for me, I like, oh, you want Skype? Well, you have to give me access to that Skype, and I get to read what you're Skyping about. That type of thing.
Well, my thing is basically, I pose another thing on top of that. It's like, okay, you say that you'll allow them on at this age, but in this age where everything is connected to the internet, like everything from your phone to even your fucking refrigerator is connected to the internet now.
Yeah.
No joke.
No, it's not. That's why I'm laughing.
But that's the thing is that like, you can try and shelter from it all you want, but at this point, does your authority as a parent even mean anything when it's literally everywhere in society?
It's a different way of looking at it for sure. I'm paranoid.
It's like you can't shelter your kid from your fucking refrigerator.
You're right. You're right. But you can't blame me for being paranoid too. I guess I'm going to be
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm not Blissy, calm down. Yeah. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying we can say, oh, I would ideally like to wait till whatever ranges we were talking about, like 12 to 16, whatever. Yeah. But can you actually pull that off in today's society?
Well, there's a difference, Peter, between going, whatever, and, attempting to lay down the rules. It'd be like being an adult and going, I'm not going to let you drink coffee until you're 12, and they sneak it 2 years early. Make them, break the rules like you had to when you were a kid. Make them have to fucking be crafty to do that crap. If they want to go sneak into the local library to pop themselves online, or at least maybe the person there will be watching them if you're not going to, if you're that kind of parent.
No, yeah, I get you, but
I'd like to think if
the internet now, it's not like everything used to make coffee. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'd like to think if I were to sit my kid down and explain to them, hey, I'm going to let you go on the internet and you can go and have fun and meet new people and stuff, but please exercise these rules, and I set the rules. But, after that, what if they break them? Are you responsible for the fact that they broke them? Well, yeah, you are. And yet, I don't know. It's complicated. I'm scratching my head right now.
It's simple. You ground them from the internet. Did parents forget what it is to take something away from kids? Jesus.
I didn't have the internet
yes.
back then, so...
Wait. You could ground children?
Yeah. So you need to remember, this is the fuck you, dad, mom and dad generation, dearie. I say as I unholster my vape pen and take a long drag.
I'm pretty sure that who was it?
I put on my sunglasses and call myself douchebag Dwight.
Yeah, say what you will, but I'm pretty sure Pastel Opal's parents yanked her sorry ass offline. So good on them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't. What the hell happened there?
So basically, Pastel Opal was like a fan of mine or something like that, and I just remember telling him like, "Hey, look, stop hitting on me. You're 16. Da 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 da. And by the way, stop drawing like rude porn and shit like that." And someone like showed me a picture where she was making fun of, I think, Chambers of My Heart, and drew like a penis on her head. I'm like, no, that's you being an asshole. I don't need to do that, but like do like porn. And she took like real offense to that, and then like dumped a bunch of like lolly hentai in the room and said, don't tell me what to do. And then thankfully Chambers went and found a way to contact her parents, and she got ripped offline.
Nice try, bitch.
I know, it was really good too, because like she went back to fucking Vita's room and he like pat her on the back. Good job, kid. Good job.
Wait, what?
You did all right.
Oh my gosh.
Like the thing is that like it's cool that they were able to do that, and it's cool that they did it, but the overwhelming majority of people, there's a reason why they call it the fuck you generation, not because it's unanimous, but because it's common enough that parents are just too terrified to actually discipline their own kids.
That actually just add on in something that is rather unfortunate, that kind of mentality is I'm saying this from my perspective. This is another addition to how they come up to this entitled snowflake mentality of assuming that if they want to get into content creating, they expect someone they look up to be a mentor to them or so whereabouts. And that's actually a very scary thought.
Well, Goldie.
Yeah.
Part of not doing that is telling that person no.
I know. But the thing is,
I want to make it clear. I don't have a problem disciplining children if they do the wrong thing. My problem is that you tell your kids not to do certain things. They break the rules. You, as the parent, are held responsible, and you ground or discipline your kid, but they still did it. And it's, again, I have social anxiety, so it's like, what do you do after the fact?
So. But back to what you were saying, you could just tell them no, and you never know if they would want to do something like what Pastel Opal did, that they would want to do something completely out of a temper tantrum. And it's, just taking that, bringing that story into perspective, this just teaches that I'm only saying this with wishful thinking that, when you identify with that, not identify, but when you know about that story, you would think to yourself, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that, and learn how to take rejection. I know it's easier said than done, right? But it's just something else to take into account with our current generation, the FU generation, as Aeon pointed out. I'm trying to think of what else to add on here. I'm sorry. The
one thing I like to add to this is
go ahead.
I went to a not so good school. I got the shit kicked out of me like every day from like kindergarten to I had to stay until I dropped out. And I cannot tell you a single real life friend I had growing up. And I don't think I think if it wasn't for this fandom and meeting the awesome people, just meeting people through the Bernie fandom and being online and all that stuff when I was 12, 13 years old, I probably would have killed myself. So that's something to consider, that the denying people an outlet outside of their own community when their own community can be in some cases quite toxic, that can lead up to more disastrous results, which is why I always say, and that's never going to change, feel like they should definitely be allowed to touch it. You just keep a close relationship and be a part of their life. If you are a part of your child's life, you will know what's going on usually. If you make sure that you're, not this strict authoritarian around this subject, they're not going to feel the need to hide stuff from you. And if they aren't trying to hide stuff from you, you're going to know what's going on. And that's just something you need to keep in mind. My parents, they did not like me being on the internet to the point where they made me use it in the kitchen. So I would use it in the kitchen. I would go in Skype calls and I would ruin every episode episode of The Big Bang Theory because they wanted me to talk to people in the kitchen. So instead of being a part of my life and just saying, hey, keep me updated with all this stuff, and maybe, hey, can I get to know your friends? It was just like, okay, screw it, let's just go to your room and do your own thing. And that's what I ended up doing. And I mean, in the end, I do feel like it saved my life. But on the other hand, if my mom was a part of my life and understood what I was doing instead of trying to hinder it, there'd probably be a lot of things I could have avoided and a lot of things I could have kept them involved in. But don't listen to me.
I got a question for you, Creepy.
Yeah,
sure.
Sure.
I know Golden has probably had these because I know I've had them. Have you ever gotten a parent complaining about your channel? Hey, my kid watches your channel. Can you tone down the language or being inappropriate?
Oh, God. Yeah, I could go on a tirade about that.
Do you remember the Slender Man thing that happened in 2015?
I think so.
Yeah, the stabbing in Waukesha.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of conservative parents threatened a convention I was going to with a bomb threat because they didn't feel like creepypasta people should be there influencing their children.
What?
Yeah, so I've gotten quite a few complaints.
Well, I
don't give a fucking shit, man. I'm fucking cuss if I want to fucking cuss. I'm mostly making my content for adults anyway.
Yeah, like one of the reasons why I do present, because it's no secret that I'm probably one of the most open pagans in not just the analysis community, maybe even in the fandom as a whole. What I like about that is that people immediately know what I'm all about if you just wear it on your sleeve. So, because if you can do it right, you can just be, if I just walk up to someone and be like, haha, hail Satan. It's like, oh, that's Aeon. That's Aeon right there. So if you wear it on your sleeve, you're less likely to actually get flack for it because, like, people, like, you can't just walk into my channel and be like, oh, I'm a Christian and this bothers me. It's like, well, yeah, you should have known this, though, because you came to my channel where I have videos talking about, like, worshiping. I have some videos that talk about, like, the nature of demon worship and all this other stuff. And it's just like, yeah, you know what to expect. I've had a
parent contact me some months before on a video I posted more than 4 years ago saying that, Lightning Bliss, I can't believe you cussed. I thought you were a family-friendly channel. I didn't respond to this person, but if I did, my response would be, I'm a PG-13 YouTube channel. I do stride to be family friendly, but I'm not gonna lie and say that I do cuss or allow cussing every now and then. Maybe not the strong language stuff, no, but I allow Golden to say damn.
I do my best to like not cuss as much. I'll say like the lesser I'll try not to say fuck as much. My writers always try to put the word fuck in there, and I'm like, hey, it's not that you have any problem with the word fuck. It's just if I say fucking fuck every other fucking sentence, it fucking gets a little fucking annoying.
It's there's a difference. Parents, if you don't like what your kids are watching on our channel, then don't let them watch it. Yes, I want to jump on what Creepy said. Yes, we have a responsibility not to take advantage of our viewers, but you parents have a responsibility of what your kids watch, and we are not in charge of what your kids watch. We have a right to express ourselves through our freedom of speech and artwork as long as it abides to the law.
I feel like the parents' obsession with hiding content from their children is kind of annoying, too. I do feel like, don't get me wrong, there are some things out there that maybe we should wait on, but most times, hiding content from kids or hiding things from kids is just going to make them curious, and then they're going to do it behind your back.
Well, there's another thing too, is that like if I'm with the safe space, if you want a good analogy for the safe space phenomena, it's like, oh, I'm afraid of my kid getting diseased, so you put them in a sterile environment. But what happens? Well, now it's like, okay, well, you have to go out into the world and do something, but then they'll die of like a pathetically easy disease just by getting a whiff of the open air now.
They need to be exposed.
You're not actually, they need to be exposed, because if you don't expose them to what life is like and have this obsession with, oh, we should just make everything into a safe space, that's not how that works. You don't if you are upset with the color orange, you don't try and make legislation saying, oh, no one can wear orange. It's you either learn to deal with the color orange or lock yourself away so you don't have to see it. Don't make yourself society's problem.
I actually have a funny story related to this. I used to actually suffer from severe night terrors, and my parents didn't let me see anything above a PG up until I was like 14 years old. When I was 14 years old, I saw my first horror movie, and literally overnight, night terrors stopped happening.
I have something similar.
I've been wanting to say something for a little while.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so the whole like cussing thing, or the quote unquote censorship, it's understandable that there is some censorship, like what's appropriate or whatnot. But if somebody were to message me, and I did get this before about don't cuss, my kid is watching this, there's a couple of things to nail down, and I'm probably going to get a lot of garbage for saying this. First of all, it's your fault that your child watched it. Second, kids actually like cussing because they either think it's funny or they think it's cool. Case in point, 2017's It. Yeah. I mean, that's putting it very bluntly. Third of all, people cuss. Get used to it. Now, I'm not going to say that it's perfectly okay to just say the F word all the damn time or say shit, fuck, cockbag, just everyone on public, because that is a huge disturbance, like, out in public. There's a difference between swearing out in public and a freaking medium. YouTube has been strictly, okay, not strictly. But
your kid's going to hear a lot more cussing.
Exactly, but either or, YouTube has stated in the past that it's mostly for 13 and up to have a YouTube account. And if a kid is watching a YouTube video, they're entering it at their own risk. We shouldn't have to change our image entirely out of their expense. Now, I will say that it is like what you guys have pointed out, that you do want to kind of restrain a little bit and mellow down on what level of cussing there is. I mean, creepy, like what you said. If somebody's repeatedly dropping the F-bomb, it's going to get really obnoxious.
And I do scripted content too, so it's like, for me to be cohesive, I need to cut out many of those transitional words, and fuck, shit, god damn it, all that stuff. Those are usual transitional words that just add fluff to what I'm trying to talk about, which can extend my already very long video lengths. I'm not even kidding. My usual video is like a fucking hour long. So imagine if I added an hour's worth of me saying the F word, it's like, and I would make it 30 minutes of the F-bomb. It's
Would you believe that?
Can I just bring up one thing too? Okay. It's kind of like we can have it's an interesting sort of discussion, because I'm not in favor of exposing everyone to everything immediately. I do think you have to expose people in stages. We can all agree, not only as ourselves but also as a society as a whole, that we shouldn't be showing pornography to underage kids. That is okay. Oh, no one. Yeah. Golden. Wait for the peanut gallery moment.
Wow.
But it's more like as a society we can all agree that kids shouldn't be seeing that. But then there's also the other side of the spectrum where the one side will all agree with that, but then you'll have people who are but we can also universally agree we shouldn't be censoring the color orange on the other side. So you pull back that example. That's going too far to censor out every little thing because I'm triggered by the color orange. Well, that's not like pornography where we sheltering kids from that is a good thing until they're of age to view it. The color orange is okay, that's something in life you're going to have to adapt to and deal with, or it's essentially that's a you problem, basically. So there's a difference between those issues. That's what I'm saying.
Would you believe there was a time where I was not an Alien fan?
Wait, what?
Oh,
go ahead. So I am a huge Xenomorph fan. I love H.R. Geiger's work.
I thought you were talking about some fetish or something. God.
Oh, no. The movie.
I really love Aliens.
The franchise. I'm sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
Trophy.
My bad. I should have. My mind should have went to Aliens. He's just talking about underage porn, though, and my mind got all discombobulated.
My mother was one of those.
Should I edit that out? Jesus.
No, feel free.
Okay.
My mother was one of those that did not like us kids watching any rated R or violent films. But every now and then, my dad would just make me and all the kids watch Terminator and Terminator 2, and those were highly rated R. Remember, my dad rented Terminator 2 Judgment Day and had me sit down and watch it, and my mom's like, you can't let her watch that. And he's like, shut up. He made me watch it, and I loved it. But when I first saw Aliens, I only saw 5 seconds, and all I saw was teeth and an inner jaw. I was terrified and traumatized for weeks. And I could never sleep properly without a nightlight or the closet door being open. But
I have a very similar situation, except instead of the movie Alien, it was the movie Darkness Falls, and it was that opening scene where the two fairy ends up killing someone.
But you know what made it worse? So my mom would have the nightlight and the closet door light open, but every time she left it open like that, I kept thinking of Zool from Ghostbusters was coming to get me. So it didn't really help much.
So wait. No. So let me get this straight. You were terrified of State Puff.
Yeah. No, I was terrified of Zool.
But didn't Zool turn into State Puff?
No, that was Gozer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
No,
so anyway, several
yeah.
years roll by. I'm 13 years old. Alien Resurrection comes out. My dad rents it. And I'm like, what are you watching? He's like, Resurrection. And I'm gone. He's like, sit down. I'm not watching that, Dad. That movie, those movies terrify me. He's like, you're going to get over it. Sit your ass down and watch it.
Isn't 4 the goofiest shit one?
It is the worst film. It is the worst. I mean, I don't know. I mean, compared to AVPR, I don't know which one's worse.
If I remember correctly, it's the one where the guy ran at someone and the chest burster.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
I saw that on Jim Sterling's bad movie Defense Force.
Okay,
it was bad.
I want to go ahead.
I just wanted to finish it with, so I watched it. I had a few jump scares here and there, but what ended up happening is that because I was into dragons at the time, I was drawing a lot of dragons in middle school, and the first thing that caught my attention was the creature design. I'm like, oh wow, it looks like a black dragon. This is awesome. And he's like, oh, you like it now? I'm like, yeah, I love it. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? There's 3 more movies before this one. What? So that was the one thing he and I connected to. So he got me to watch the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise. So I'm a huge Alien versus Predator fan too. Despite the god-awful movies, read the books, they're better. Heck, read the comics, they are so much better.
Sorry.
But yeah, so yeah, that's why I'm a Xenomorph fan.
Should we? I mean, I don't want to do this because I know that all 4 of you guys are just amazing draws on YouTube, but I have to edit a lot of this. Should we call it a wrap? I'm already going to probably chop this into 2 parts.
Yeah, this is. I think we hit it on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Hey, Bliss, mind if I add you on Skype?
Y'all
What are you gonna do to me, creepy? What did I do? I don't get in trouble.
I actually would like to get to know you a little bit because I've never heard of their content
about you.
Oh yeah, here, Creepy's channel is really good. Dog.
Oh yeah, no,
Josh said that
I will.
suck into his animes.
I will warn you. He talks a lot like Josh. There's no shutting him up.
Well, let me tell you about this time where I met Josh Scorcher.
Oh God.
If you want to see what I'm editing right now, let me just take a quick screen cap.
Lilac's done some pictures of him like with bows and stuff with his mummy Yossi looking really girly.
I'm transgender now. Like me, Tumblr.
I'm sorry.
I identify as an attack helicopter.
Oh no! But yeah, I'm sorry if we went off topic a lot.
No, it's cool. Like, was there anything specifically? I mean, there's like a couple of things.
I feel like we covered a lot of.
Oh yeah, I was hoping we could plug in this website called NetSmarts.
Oh yeah, sure. Here,
absolutely, yeah, that's a really good website to help educate kids on what to prepare for and be cautious of when you're going online.
Are you still recording, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm still recording.
Okay, can you explain to me what NetSmarts is, as someone who doesn't know what NetSmarts is, because I have none of those.
I'm looking at it. It says online safety tools for education, parents, and kids. Let's see.
They are a non-profit organization.
Is there like a quick synopsis that I could specifically jump to, little dossier, or I guess?
Well, I could sum it up for you real quick.
Sure.
Basically, yeah, it is an educational website that educates law enforcement, parents, teenagers, and children about the dangers of online and offline predator activity.
Sure.
And they are a nonprofit organization. They do work alongside the government. I actually do talk to their ambassador. He goes by the name Sven on DeviantArt.
I used to hang out with a European guy we used to call Sven. Sorry for hijacking that.
No, it's okay. But yeah, he's a really cool guy. I actually did a commission for their program, and they basically gave out posters I created for them. I think it was 2017's BronyCon.
Man, I went to my first BronyCon this year, and I did the harassment dance at Keyframe a lot, and that was fun.
But yeah,
I was scared. If people were like, "Don't say that, you might get kicked out," I go like, "I'm gonna do the harassment dance. Fuck you." And then Keyframe started doing the dominance dance, so my comment got deleted.
But yeah, be sure to check out their website, donate if you'd like, or if you just want to do some research about them, feel free. Yeah, they're a pretty cool program.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I think that's a wrap. Hey, after this, Lightning Bliss, after this, would it be chill if I, like, you know, got you in a call? Because I actually wanted to ask you a few things, not in front of present company.
Maybe later, because I'm getting called by the husbando. Apparently my curfew is here.
I don't know anything about a
creepy.
husbando.
Creepy. Can I tell you a funny story afterward?
Yeah, sure.
And he's gonna make a video on it, but it's funny.
All right. Well, you head off because I don't want to keep you from your husbando. But add me on Skype. I'll probably send you a poke when I get home from work tomorrow.
Sure thing. Let me see if I can do that right now. Let me right-click on you. Can I right-click on you?
Maybe.
Works anymore.
How does this work? Hold on.
I could send you his.
There we go.
Okay.
I found you. I added the contacts.
You found me. Oh no, he found me.
I'm transgender now. Tumblr, love me. I want to be one of you, Lily Pete.
So Skype by pronouns.
My pronouns are there, that, human, and AIDS monster.
I'll have you know, my pronouns are Zur, Zig, and Zyglak. I am much more snowflakky than you are.
You know what?
Excuse me.
You know what?
I'm not even a snowflake.
I think you guys are just trying to find me more shit to fucking cut out. Was there
You
anything
should
that
stop
really?
recording.
Oh, I don't know. This sounds funny. I want to tell you guys this. I basically winded up recording a call from freaking Creepy, and I remember him going, "No, like lose 3/4 of this," and I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" Like, man.
Like, I'm trying to add you, Creepy, and it won't let me. I guess I have to leave the call to do that.
Here, I'll give you his freaking profile name thingamajig. I'll put it in the main chat. Look at this!
Fun.
Look at this
Hey
potential.
Bliss, have you actually checked the okay, instead of clicking on the roster, which is what I assume you were trying to look into, have you actually clicked on the username like in the chat log?
Yeah, it's the cool man 225 because he's a pretentious douchebag.
I made this
Yes,
account.
I will do this. Add on Skype.
Yeah.
Thank you, Golden. Thank you.
I now have
MG.
you on the Skypes, and
Nice.
I'm proud.
Okay,
Awesome.
I think I got it. I think I did it.
Creepy
I
is
hope
one
I-
of those rare people when you're like, okay, I never would have figured that name out. It's unlike when I was like, I wonder what Guru Larry's Skype is. Oh, Guru Larry. Well, gee, now I feel like a dumbass. I was like, I never. When they're really obvious and shit, I'm like, oh yeah, never would have thought of that.
And that's actually how I met a lot of big people in the community when I was younger. I would just Google their YouTube name. It's like I'd find their Skype like right there.
Nice.
That's how I found Glaze.
Right there. Where are you from? That almost sounded southern.
Michigan.
Yep, he's from Detroit.
Never mind.
I got
Represent.
bullied at the airport, by the way, because I struggled to pronounce th noises. So I'm going like I went up to one of the airport people. I'm like, yo, I'm on a flight 1609. Do you know where that is? And the guy's like, oh, it's right there. I'm like, thank you. And then everyone started laughing at me. Like, there's like a section of the airport that started laughing at me. Like, don't bully me. I'm from Detroit.
No, I know what you
have
mean.
no
'cause-
proper education.
No, I know what you mean because I lived in Redford for the first 9 years of my life, and I didn't. The speaking voice you hear now, according to people from both regions family members who can compare and contrast, I apparently gained some New England. I'm like, oh, that's why people kept saying it was different. Oh shit.
That reminds me, Creepy. Remember when I was calling for the pizza?
Yeah.
Just randomly decided to switch over the Indian guy's voice, and you're like, no.
Okay, Lightning. You're gonna hate Anthony for doing this, but you know what we do? We got told by the hotel that Brothers Pizza was awesome, but this place shouldn't have been called Brothers Pizza. It should have been called Brothers Pizza because the guy who like answered the phone, you could swear was like at least like from Uganda or something, and he's like, "Oh, hello. What would you like?" And Evergear's like, yeah, can I get a barbecue and chicken pizza? And he's like, what did that? And he's like, wait, what did that? And
I just started to
eventually-
slip over to the Hindu accent, going, "Yeah, man, I'm going to need." I can't even do it right because it's been.
Oh my god.
And I would have got away with it, but then Creepy started making these retarded faces, like kind of like giggling, and I'm like, "No, shut up!" And I couldn't. The more he would do it, the more I would screw up the call. Where he's like, "Just cancel the
I was
goddamn
laughing.
thing."
It was so funny because I just noticed like out of nowhere he goes like, yeah, okay, if you don't have a barbecue chicken pizza, could you get me like maybe some like a cheese pizza with like a sausage in? And I'm just sitting there going like,
Yeah.
this was not planned. So we ordered a pizza, and then eventually, like after about 5 minutes, I kind of realized something. Like, dude, this guy does not understand what a barbecue chicken pizza is.
You want to know like the ultimate all-time piece of shit moment when I remember working at Allstate where I was doing like freaking what was it called, fucking emergency hotline. Dude, I would get bored and I'd get like someone really southern or something like that. I'd kind of like I'll lie and say subconsciously picking it up. No, I got bored, and so I started like mimicking the other person's accent to see if anybody would yell at me.
Yo, my name is Nigga G.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
You know,
God, no.
it's buried.
I'm here to become the next big rapper, yo. I'm gonna be like Kanye, but more cancerous.
Indeed.
Oh my gosh.
One time, my brother actually came home like from a bar, really drunk, right? And he like stumbles down the stairs, and he's like, "Someone out there should be called like a rapper or something. Should be called like nigga."
All right.
That would be
all right.
fun.
Fine. I'll stop recording. You win, jackass.